right, guys, it's springtime in Texas. It's the most wonderful time of the year. Beg to differ with those who say it's Christmas. Springtime, if you're a bass fisherman, it's the deal. Especially here in Texas this year. Had a lot of rains, our lakes came up, flooded a bunch of cover. We've got pre-spawners, ones that are moving up, great big fat ones. The spawners in the back of the creeks, getting in really predictable areas, getting around all that flooded cover. Then the post-spawners, not quite as big, but man, they are here to eat. Active fish, those are always fun. The last few weeks, I've been fishing quite a bit, fishing some of my favorite old lakes. Hey, it's shelter in place here in Texas, but you can still get out and fish. That's a great part of it. Been socially distancing, but catching some big old fish up close and personal. So let's start it off out at Lake Fork, my all-time favorite lake, for big old fish. Took my son out a few days before the full moon, fishing points, the big ones are moving in, and we hook up right away. Well, obviously that was a pretty big one. And when you hook it in the side, man, I thought he had like a double digit, no doubt about it. It's a big fish, but when you get it sideways, and that's the Revo Beast, I mean, that's a big, like, musky reel. He couldn't move that thing. I was convinced he had like a 13-pounder or something. Anyway, still a pretty good fish. No acting there, that was a big one. But obviously, points are the deal, fish are moving in. I pick up a jerk bait, start point hopping as well. Look what happens. Well, a couple days later, I head back out to the lake. It's the day of the full moon. The big one should be up there moving. I go sight fishing, not seeing a big wave, and there's 100 sight fishermen doing it. But hey, guess what? There's all this flooded cover. So I said, forget the sight fish. I'm gonna go grass fishing. Spawning fish, man, they are tricky, and they're not trying to eat it half the time. They play with their food, nibbling at it. And look at this one. Big old fish, blows up at it, strike one. Right to. Stay right. Oh, foul tip, foul tip. All right, still got life. One more chance. Get squared away on this thing. Throw back in. Look what happens. Well, that's springtime fishing for you. Man, that fish, when she finally decided to get it, she was wound up and she wanted it. That's the thing. Bed fish and the spring ones, when they want a bait, you can't take it from them. When they don't want it, you can't force feed them. They just keep on playing with their food. But if you're persistent, keep putting it in there, whether you miss one flipping or whether you're casting to it, a lot of times they're home bodies, they're around that bed, they're gonna come back and eat it. That one was worth waiting for. Well, the flooded grass deal, at Fork, the water was dropping really fast. Not a whole lot of grass. I ran around, caught a few more fish, but not big ones like that, just not a lot of that cover. But some of our other lakes are way higher. So I decided next day, let's go out, try some other grass lakes. Let's try this old buzz pattern, bring them across the top of the water, buzz baits, toads, all that stuff. It's a lot of fun. It's about my favorite way to catch them. Now, even though I'm catching them on top of the buzzbait and the frogs, all that, you always want to check the bushes because that's where they're going to spawn usually, either get up in around them or spawn right off to the side. So you got to keep them honest. I was flipping it quite a bit, not really catching them, concentrating on grass, but those few little extra casts to bushes pay off, and especially with this one, a great big fish.
Fish. Where you going? Hit one?
Yeah.
Get this one on camera.
Oh. Look what he did. He broke my buzzbait. I caught him. He broke the bait, man. Lost my buzzbait. That's called pattern fishing. A pattern of
Where the hell they've been?
those fish are.
And if they've been there, then throw it there.
Yeah.
Well, by the end of the day, I had the pattern dialed in pretty well. I could run around, fish that grass, and find them. My son, I'm not sure he 100% had the pattern fishing figured out. I know one thing, his mother's probably gonna ground him after hearing his potty mouth. But the next day I go back out there and the wave starts to move up. Sunny and slick, that frog, that topwater deal's not as good. They're around the bushes, but same old springtime problem, right? You throw in there, you catch the buck, you miss them, they're wrapping you up in the heavy cover. Starts to get kind of frustrating. Even butterflies, man, they got a photobomb. I don't know what the deal is. Well, thankfully I avoided having a meltdown or a tantrum. The main thing, flipping in that heavy cover, hey, you know you're gonna miss some, you're gonna lose some, stick with it, the fish were there, and sure enough, keep on pitching, start connecting with the hogs. Springtime in Texas, it's the most wonderful time of the year. And if the fishing doesn't move you, the waves will. Watch this.